Life is hectic.
Some days are just a blur.
We're Jay and Laura LaFoon, and we help busy couples stay married for life.
Welcome to the Married for Life podcast.
Welcome to Married for Life podcast number 4. It is November 15th here in Michigan.
Well, I think it's November 15th everywhere.
Good point, honey.
Not just here in Michigan.
But November 15th here in Michigan marks the opening day of rifle season for deer hunting. Now, I love meat as much as anyone else, but I never understood deer hunting. You get up in the middle of the night.
It's early, way too early
to go sit
up.
in freezing cold temperatures, and you got to sit still. I think that's why I can't. I love
be quiet.
Be still and be quiet. Yeah, that's why Jay can't deer hunt and wait for Bambi to come along and shoot him. Now, trust me, I kill things. I love to pheasant hunt, but see, in pheasant hunting out in the Dakotas, you can't start till 10 in the morning, which is perfect for me. And you have to walk and you have to make noise to scare the pheasants. So, different strokes for different folks, but it is November 15th, and we know for so many of you ladies, you've become a, what do they call them?
Hunting widow.
A hunting widow. Yes.
And I think some of them probably don't care.
Yay!
Just
bring home the meat.
He's gone for the weekend.
I can watch Netflix.
Get my nails done. Today we have special guests for you, our friends Bill and Pam Farrel, who we've known for many years, and we have done lots of ministry together. One of our favorite times of doing ministry with Bill and Pam was on the marriage cruise.
We love the marriage cruise.
We love that marriage cruise. We host the marriage cruise every January, where we go to the Caribbean, whether it's the Eastern, the Western, or the Central. For us, we like to get out of the Michigan cold and head to the sunny Caribbean.
There's not a better time to do that than in January, and that's what we do every January. You can check out more of that information on our website at jayandlaura.com, but we'd love to have you join us on the marriage cruise sometime. Well, we are going to be talking with Bill and Pam Farrel, and here's one of my favorite sayings. Friends are the family you choose. And no truer words could be stated about Bill and Pam. So just sit back, be prepared to be enlightened, and enjoy some really fun talk about waffles and spaghetti.
Our guests today are Bill and Pam Farrel, and you guys, we love you. We've known you a long time, but our listeners may not have ever heard of you. How that would happen, I don't know, because you're famous for your waffles and spaghetti, but just tell our listeners.
Not the food, the book.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But just tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves, like how long you've been married, kids. I know you have kids. I know you have grandkids because I'm jealous. But just give us a little bit of a background of who Bill and Pam are.
Who our friends Bill and Pam are.
Yeah, and we love you guys. We love doing ministry with you. We feel like we're cut out of the same cloth, only you're funnier and more fun. So that's why we like to hang out with you.
Bill's got more hair than I do, so.
I hate to say, Jay, but I quote you often on something you probably don't want me quoting you over and over again on. That us men are just, we're 8-year-olds who shave.
That's right.
We've been married 39 years coming in December, 39 years. So we're planning, some kind of a big 40 around the corner celebration. We're kind of hoping our kids pay for this one. I think we might be sponsoring, a cruise or something. Or maybe we'll all just come on your cruise. Maybe that's almost 40 years we've been married. Mm-hmm. And then we have 3 sons.
Yep, 3 boys.
Brock, Zach, and Caleb.
Everything in our house was broken when they were growing up.
But now they've turned into gentlemen. They love God. They're great husbands and fathers and leaders in their community. So we survived all of that to get some awesome grandkids. We have 4 currently. We have 3 in Phoenix area. And then we have 1 little Sutton in about Liberty, Louisville, Kentucky, and another one on the way, like any moment kind of on the way. So we'll have 5 in total by end of September.
So jealous.
We're so jealous.
It is fun. It's worth waiting for. Yeah. Totally. I'm glad our guys, married some great godly daughter-in-laws because we'd love to go and hang out. We would be friends even if we weren't relatives, and that's a treat. That's not always the case.
Yeah, that's huge.
And so we feel very blessed in that way. And our grandkids, they love to talk about Jesus too. So we have a lot of fun with them. So it's worth waiting for. It'll happen. And just be sure to pick a really cool, grandma, grandpa name.
I know.
Seriously, we have a hard time deciding. I mean, we have a grand dog. but
Yes,
you
we-
know, he can't talk, so we don't know what to call ourselves when we do have grandchildren.
I'm thinking Grandpa Foon.
Oh, cute. Yeah,
That
yeah.
works.
Bill is Papa SoCal, and I'm Nana Go-Go, but because they used to take me to the airport and wave, Nana Go-Go.
Very good.
But it's kind of just dropped to Nana Papa.
There you go. There
Yeah,
you
I'll
go.
probably just be grandma.
Grandma.
Because my mom's Nana, my sister's Nana. I'm not going to be Nana, so that's just a given.
Yeah. Am
I
I
want to be Mimi, but he won't let me be Mimi. He doesn't
no,
like that.
No. You don't live in, rural Georgia. You're not going to be me. Enough about us.
Hey, can you guys kind of share with our listeners and those who are watching via video, how did you get started in marriage ministry? What brought you to where you are today?
Yeah.
Besides demented frame of mind and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So that it's actually a very personal question for us because neither one of us grew up in very healthy homes.
Right.
And when we got married, we realized, we love Jesus with all of our heart. We are madly in love with each other, and we have no idea what we're doing.
Not a clue.
All we knew is we didn't want to repeat what we grew up around. We love our parents. We just didn't want to repeat what they did.
And we were first generation believers. I came to Christ when I was 8. My mom was 28. We kind of came at the same time together. She was working as a craft lady in Vacation Bible School, and it was our first church experience. Her best friend roped her in to helping with the little kids, and that's how we, came to Christ together. And so my mom is really an awesome believer, but she married an alcoholic, abusive man, and my dad was very hard and harsh. So their marriage didn't survive because my mom basically had to rescue us to save our lives.
And I met Jesus at 16 because I went to go see the movie The Exorcist.
Evangelistic film.
which got me reading the Bible. And
Right, exactly.
1 John 4:4, greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world, brought me to Christ.
Sure.
So
And I have still not seen the movie. Don't like scary movies.
and I don't recommend it, but it got me. Yeah. So we started going to church when we were married,
Well, engaged, dating. We're going, to church together.
and we started looking for couples who looked like they still liked each other.
Like you guys.
Like our bar wasn't real high. We were just looking for couples who looked like they've been married for a while and
No
still
one's gonna kill each other.
looked at each other.
Held hands or, arm around in church, that kind of.
And we had a greeting time at our church. So I would sit us behind these couples, and during the greeting time, I'd look at the guy and I would say, "Hey, you look like you're in love with this woman. Is this real?" And if he said yes, I would say, "Well, how did you do it?" Which you don't have time at church to answer that question. So that usually meant an invitation to lunch.
Yay! Hey, we got great mentoring and a free lunch. It was awesome.
Awesome.
And out of desperation, we forced couples to talk to us about how marriage really works.
Yeah.
And that started the process in our life of seeing the value of getting help for your relationship.
And proactive help. A lot of times people are like, oh, you're going to the marriage conference? What's wrong? And we're like, no, it's preventative. That's why we want to go. And in fact, our first month that we were married, one of the youth, Bill was a youth pastor, and one of the parents came up and said, hey, we want to sponsor you guys to go to this Christian marriage conference,
Marriage Encounter.
Marriage Encounter. And we said, well, we don't have problems, we're in love. And they said, you want to stay that way?
Right.
And so we went, and we really found the value of going to good marriage enrichment Christian conferences, like once a year, like you tune up a car or tune up your marriage. Yeah.
So then as youth pastors, we realized that the teenagers we were working with were pretty much idiots about their relationships. So we started doing relationship seminars for them to help them figure out how to make this thing happen. And then when I became a pastor, I realized, I don't really know how to be a pastor. I didn't come from a line of pastors. I've got education, but there's a lot more to running a church than getting an education.
Especially since he was 28.
Right. So I asked one of my seminary professors, Jim Conway, if he would be a mentor for me.
And some people in the audience might be familiar with Jim Conway just because he was the one who coined the term men in midlife crisis. And he wrote that book, and it's been a perpetual bestseller helping couples in that really hard stage of life. And so that's how we had heard of him before, was first on focus on the family, and then he was our seminary professor. But then when we got into ministry, we realized we need more wisdom than we have here. And so Jim and Sally began to meet with us, and they were actually the ones who opened the door to publishing. They said, hey, let's co-author a book together.
Nice.
So, mentoring can help fill in the gaps, maybe that your parenting, their parents didn't fill, if you had like a dysfunctional home upbringing, or it can just build onto the wonderful foundation. Maybe you had a great upbringing, but they'll just build wisdom into your life. So we're all into mentoring.
I just want to say for anybody who's listening, like, all you have to do is really follow where God's leading. Because I didn't have any idea I would ever be an author. It wasn't in my goal sheet. It wasn't in my plan. In fact, at 30 years old, if you told me I was going to be an author, I would have laughed at you and told you have the wrong guy.
He's a math major.
Yeah. But when your mentor looks you in the eyes and says, my wife and I want to write a book with you.
There you go.
How many books have you guys published? I know there's a bazillion.
45. We're working on 46.
Wow. Like, do you get a magic coin when you hit 50 or something like that?
Well, at one of our publishers, Harvest House, if you hit 1 million, if you hit 1 million, which we're very close, 1 million in English, we are already past that, because 15 translations of Men Are Like Waffles, Like Spaghetti, and many of our other books as well. But 1 million, you get a little plaque on the wall.
There you go.
That's our goal in life, is to get a little plaque on the wall.
Well, speaking of all the books you've written, we want to focus on one in particular, because we're coming up, or it is the 20th anniversary of Men Are Like Waffles, Women Are Like Spaghetti. Give us a little overview of the book, and then maybe some of what's happening with this 20th anniversary edition.
Right? Yeah. Well, Men Are Like Waffles, Women Like Spaghetti. It was developed when we were like that first year in the lead pastorate position. A guy came up to Bill at the gym and said,
Right. So I was working with the basketball league, and he heard the pastor was there. So he said, Bill, can I bring my wife in to come see you? I think she's broken. Now, I was really intrigued.
Just crazy. They're just all crazy.
Yeah. So I was intrigued because, one, a guy's initiating it.
Yeah.
Right.
And second, I want to know what he means by she's broken.
Yep.
And I had been praying, God, would you show us a male-friendly way to help couples do better? Because getting women involved in relationship discussions doesn't seem difficult to me.
easy, we're interested. Yeah.
Yeah, getting guys interested in the topic is tough. Yeah. So I was like, God, would you give me a male-friendly way to do this? And we'd been looking at research, and we knew that the differences between men and women were affecting relationships. But
yeah, there's all kinds of studies that, show that we are different down to our DNA, estrogen, testosterone. We are different.
Right. So I'm thinking in the back of my head, okay, I know this is a real issue. Guys don't talk this way. Guys like food. And so we're in this meeting. And the guy looks at his wife and says, go ahead. And she starts talking immediately.
And she's jumping from subject to subject to subject to subject to subject. And the husband, is panicked looking at Bill, like, she does this all the time.
Right. He actually said, she does this all the time. I think something's wrong with her. And in one of those moments, all this stuff came together. And I said, well, think about her conversation like a plate of spaghetti. There's a bunch of noodles on the plate, and she has to touch every noodle, because every noodle touches every other noodle. So she just needs to work through and touch every issue that's going on in her life. So just give her time to do that. And he went, okay. So he leaned in, listened, probably for the first time.
Didn't interrupt her. She talked for 55 straight minutes.
Yeah, it was
finally,
unbelievable.
She sat back and, that was great. Hey, I'm like spaghetti. What's my husband like? And Bill said,
well, we're out of time for this week. But
he didn't know. He was like, help me out, God.
So I left that meeting and said, God, I have 2 weeks. I need a food picture to help this couple know how guys process life. And my boys were making toaster waffles one day, and I said, I think that might work.
Yep.
So I went back and explained that, guys put everything in individual boxes. So we deal with one thing at a time, one issue at a time, and when we're on a subject, we want to stay on that subject. And I explained that to this couple, And I asked the guy, I said, okay, it's your turn to talk this week. Do you have something you want to bring up? And he said, yeah, I do. And so he brought up this issue he'd been trying to resolve with his wife. And I had to kind of be the relationship police that day because she tried to change subjects 7 times in the hour.
Because, you know, when a guy brings up a subject to talk about, he thinks it's that one you're going to talk about. But our minds are like spaghetti. So we see the 5 or 6 other boxes that are surrounding that first box. And we just start opening up issues. And the problem with that is when there's 1 box open, there's 1 problem to solve for a guy. When there's 2 boxes open, 2 problems solved, 3, 4, 5. And every guy has a limit on how many boxes or issues he can have presented.
I'd say probably 3 for me.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
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 So I wouldn't let her go there.
Back to the box.
Yeah. And they solved this issue in my office.
Which was good because they were on the brink of divorce because it like 10 years, the same issue, no resolution. They both had kind of had it.
Right.
So I came home, I said, Pam, I think I've got something. And I shared the concept with her.
He's like, I think God gave you this illustration. It seemed to really help people. And he
her
explained,
response was?
yeah. I said, men are like waffles, like spaghetti. Huh, that's creative.
No,
it's
that's not the word you use.
Corny.
Corny's the word you
But,
use.
I trust you and I trust God. So yeah, you want to use it this Friday night, you know, when we have that date night for our church. Oh, okay. So we tried it out on this little date night. There's like 20 couples there. But one of the couples was the new weekend program director for the largest talk radio show in our area, a talk radio station in our area. And he brought his new little bride. And when we explained men are like waffles, like spaghetti, that helped them so much. He's like, hey, have you guys ever thought about radio? Or like, not really, because it's like expensive. And he's like, well, come in and talk to our, station manager. And so that next week was Valentine's week. And so we went in and we prayed, Lord, we know that the only hope and help in a world that pulls couples apart is you, Jesus, that is the super glue that can hold couples together. Give us, the courage to say that in this meeting, or let something be said so that we know that that's the platform that we could stand on to share this good news and help couples stay in love for a lifetime. So we walked in, and the station manager walked in, and he put his hand out to Bill, and he shook his hand, and he said, well, Bill, I understand that you're a pastor, and I would just assume that you would share the spiritual dynamics and how God can improve a marriage relationship. We're like, bing, got it. So that's kind of how everything started.
Very good. Well, and it's such a great visual illustration because everyone's seen waffles, everyone's seen spaghetti. Most everyone loves waffles, and most everyone loves spaghetti.
There's even gluten-free kinds now, so we're okay.
That's right. So that visual is so easy to remember, and for a guy, when your wife is doing all of this, just zero in and realize she's got to process through this and getting that I'm all for my wife box right now. It's and what we tell people, and I know you do too, guys, you can't have a device in your hand and be in the all for your wife and all for your wife box.
So good.
You can't have the TV on. You can't have it's got to be eyeball to eyeball.
I just looked you in the eyeball.
And for the ladies to realize, we say this all the time. Men we're just simple creatures, and that's why we can only go to one box at a time. We're just very simple, but boy, get us in that box, and we're going to do some serious work in that box.
Yeah.
So tell us what's new with the 20th anniversary edition.
So we expanded it, so it has some material that we've been teaching since the first edition. We realized there were things that we had included in our conferences that were not in the book. We're like, oh, we should probably put those in. So we went back and added a lot of resources. And there's also like links to different things on our website. So additional downloadables that people can use. For example, when you're deciding who's going to do what in the household, like we have a way to make that less stressful. And then the fun part is yes. A personal assistant and a maid and a private cook. That's all in there. Yeah. And then also, train your kids and make them do everything else. That would be it.
Exactly. That's why I used to tell Jay all the time, why I had kids, was for somebody else to clean the toilets, because I
Yes.
don't having children too, one for each bathroom. There we go. We got a couple.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And then something fun that we are doing is, as we're traveling, we're kind of doing a waffles and spaghetti tour. And this part, you all may come into play in the near future. And that is, we try to go someplace and have waffles or spaghetti with people we love. You are people we love. And then we interview them about some of these, differences and how they make them work in their relationship, and just their advice on long-lasting love, and have some great pasta or some awesome Belgian waffles.
Or both.
Yeah.
I'll have the pasta. You can have the waffles. I know that waffles and spaghetti has really helped us. And even when we were on staff at church, we bought the waffles and spaghetti, and the church still has it for small groups to use, because it is such when you can think, my brain I'm like a bowl of spaghetti, and when I start talking, I'm just going to talk about everything. And he just sits and listens, and he actually does. And knowing that when he is on a subject, to just let him stay there, to just let him talk and process that one, and don't try and come, but what about this, and what about this, and what about, because that's, as women, that's what we do. But if you would just look at it from this way and this way and this way and this way, just let him. I know it's helped us in our communication immensely over the years.
And Bill, what's our favorite box?
The blank box. Well,
The nothing box. That's right. That's right. The blank box. We love it.
There's one you even like more than that, because men and women process stress differently. Like when I'm stressed out, I talk my way through stress. My mom knows it, my sister knows it, my best friend knows it, the clerk at Walmart will know I'm stressed out. But guys, when they're stressed out, they like to go their favorite easy boxes to rest and recharge, like a battery and a recharger. So God kind of helped us girls out so we could recognize these favorite recharger boxes, and that most of them are shaped like boxes when you think about it. The TV screen, the iPhone, football field, basketball court, baseball diamond, all shaped like boxes. Refrigerator shaped. The bed is shaped like a box.
There you go.
That sex box is a favorite box to go to when they're all stressed out. It's kind of like the free square in the middle of a bingo card, and they can get there from every other square on their level.
so that box followed by the nothing box.
Perfect.
It's a great evening.
Hi everyone, this is Paul Thomas, Director of Live Events at Celebrate Ministries, with a quick update on what's going on with Jay and Laura LaFoon. For those of you that are listening in the Columbus, Ohio area, Jay and Laura are going to be at the Reynoldsburg United Methodist Church November the 15th at 6:30 p.m. for the He Said, She Said Ultimate Date Night, sponsored by The River Radio. Now, to purchase tickets and to find out when Jay and Laura are bringing the Ultimate Date Night to your area, you can visit us on the web at jayandlaura.com/events. Now, I hope you're enjoying Jay and Laura's conversation with Bill and Pam Farrel, and you have the opportunity to interact with couples like these on the Marriage Cruise. In 2019, Jay and Laura are taking the Marriage Cruise to 2 different destinations, going to the Eastern Caribbean and the Pacific Northwest. This is a great opportunity for you and your spouse to enjoy time away while growing in your relationship with each other alongside some amazing couples. The Marriage Cruise will set sail for the Eastern Caribbean on January the 5th, 2019, sailing out of Miami, Florida on the Norwegian Bliss, one of the newest ships in the Norwegian Cruise Line fleet. It'll return to port on January the 12th, and along the way, you'll visit St. Thomas, Tortola, and Nassau, Bahamas during a 7-night cruise. Jay and Laura are going to be joined by Dr. David and Terry Sumlin, the co-founders of Marriage Life Ministries, and both the LaFoons and the Sumlins are going to lead workshops while the ship is at sea. The Marriage Cruise will also set sail for Alaska on July 13th through the 20th, sailing out of Seattle on the Norwegian Joy. Joining Jay and Laura will be speakers like Sarah Beckman, Edgar Garcia, and Alan Heller as the Alaskan adventure takes you for 7 nights to destinations such as Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway, and Victoria, British Columbia. Now, for more information on either one of these amazing experiences and to sign up for them, you can visit themarriagecruise.com. Now, we are coming up on the holiday season, and we have a special Black Friday, Cyber Monday special coming up that we cannot wait to tell you about. So make sure you catch next week's podcast for how you can take advantage on a great deal at one of our upcoming Celebrate Your Marriage conferences at historic Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island. We're going to reveal all the details on next week's podcast. Now, let's get back to Jay and Laura's conversation with Bill and Pam Farrel.
To the spaghetti here, I have a question. Do you guys talk about women talking to themselves to process this whole spaghetti?
I'll hear her talking, and I'm like, is she talking to me?
No, I'm just talking to myself. It's gotten worse as I've gotten older. I'll be in the kitchen, and I realize I'm talking to myself. I mean, I always say I'm my own best friend, so just talk to myself. But I'm processing through something,
Yes.
whatever's on my mind. And he'll go, are you talking to me? No. Well, okay, how am I supposed to know that? I'll say, Jay. Don't interrupt my conversation with myself, because that's just the way we process. And so it's just been something funny over the last year or two that I've noticed as I've gotten older. I talk out loud more.
Well,
Question.
pretty soon he won't be able to hear, so it won't be a problem.
So we know why you got into the ministry. You were working with couples, and it just kind of became, and your mentor asked you to write a book. But you guys have been doing this a long, long time.
Yeah.
And a birdie's told me that being in marriage ministry, especially itinerant marriage ministry, it's a grind. It's very hard. Why have you stayed with it for so long?
Yeah, I think that's why you guys are such dear friends of ours, because you get it. And that is when the need is just so huge, even inside the church, the divorce rate is that 50% mark. And inside the church, it's not much different, except, here's the thing. There's a Barna study that came out that said couples that pray together daily, couples that attend church regularly, couples that are in small group Bible study, they rate their intimate life, they rate their overall marriage satisfaction as higher than the average person. And so if we can get the skills to people to love God and love each other, we can make a dent. And you know what, coming from two broken, well, Bill's parents are still married, they're just miserable. And my parents are, fractured. So coming from that broken place, our heart compels us to write, to speak, to do like this extra that you're doing, to learn media. We don't learn media for ourselves. We're learning it to reach the next generation.
Right.
And we travel because we love meeting awesome people and helping everyone, learn to live love-wise. That's the name of our ministry, Love-Wise, the intersection of God's love and God's wisdom. And that's where we like to park, and that's where we love to see people live their lives, is at that intersection of God's love and God's wisdom.
Well, I've got a few friends who are retiring, and I'm like, they're my age and they're retiring. And yeah, exactly. Mid-50s and they're retiring. And I had to check myself because I'm like, jeepers, I'm going to be working till I'm 80. But when you're called, it's hard to move away from a calling and have any kind of peace whatsoever.
That's right.
Yeah.
Even when life is so hard, or you don't know where your next, paycheck is coming from because it's, you haven't been booked in however many months or whatever.
Right.
But you can't get away from the calling. And that's what we appreciate about you guys. It's what we love about you guys. And that's why I think God continues to bless book number 46 and beyond, to infinity and beyond.
And we're with you. I tell people all the time, I'm going to work right up until the start of my funeral.
There you go.
Exactly. Well, tell our listeners again where they can get into touch
How can
with
they
you,
connect with you?
how they can connect with you.
So our website is love-wise.com.
And we really hope that people want to deep dive a little bit with us because we have a Love-Wise membership community where you can become a member of this Living Love-Wise community at various different levels. And the theme verse for Love-Wise is out of Proverbs 19:8. The one who gets wisdom loves life. And so one of the levels of membership is just the 19:8 in reference to that verse. It's a digital membership, and you just get extra digitals monthly sent to you, and then it builds from there. So any person on any kind of budget can, get closer to us and spend more time with us if they think that would help lessen build their marriage.
And if you forget all that, do a web search on Waffles and Spaghetti.
The only one there.
Guarantee we own the front page.
And I know you also have a Facebook page. It's Bill and Pam.
Bill and Pam. Yeah, Bill and Pam Farrel Facebook page. Yeah.
All
Very
right.
good. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the work that you do and for the work you do for the kingdom. And hopefully we'll be eating some waffles and spaghetti sometime soon.
Yeah.
Yes,
right on.
yeah. Might have to come to Mackinac to one of your conferences to get it done. I hear good food up there.
So guys, keep laughing and keep doing what you do.
We love you guys.
Thanks, Bill and Pam, so much. We just love you to death. And thank you all for listening. We appreciate your listenership. And want to ask you to rate us if you would, and also to share this with your friends. Laura and I are about helping busy couples stay married for life. We know you and your friends are busy, so share it with them so we can walk this journey together and really enjoy married for life. So send us your questions. Send them to podcast@jayandlaura.com. That's podcast@jayandlaura.com. Thank you.